Well, I moved the bees yesterday, and the swarm was right there. Don't get on my face, bees. And as you can see, there's a lot of activity around this post again. But I'll show you where I moved my bees, and then you tell me if you think that these are out of that same swarm or if there might be another swarm coming in. They're all over the chair there. They're all over that. They're just buzzing around. They're kind of a little... They're not really irritated. They're just kind of, hey, what's going on? But then, if we come over here, this is just how far I moved the bees, and they seemed to be pretty cool. And I moved them this morning, let them out. They did their circles and figure eights and all that, reorientation. And there are bees sitting here on the hive that are fanning to let them know, hey, this is home. So as you can see, and there's quite a few bees just buzzing around right here too. So I think that might be another swarm coming into it. They've already started getting up on that post again. I hope it ain't a swarm, because if it is, I'm going to have to go out to the guys that I let put bees on the property and get some of their equipment and put them up, because I only want 2 hives this year. I had that one full last year of swarm. This one was full of swarm. And then I had my original bees down there in the flow hive, which all my bees died off in December and January. They died off, but they didn't die from starvation. And it didn't get cold enough here in California. It doesn't get that cold that they couldn't move around in there. Very few of the bees had their heads stuck in the cells. Most of them were just dead on the bottom board. So I'm thinking is probably a pesticide, because they all died at the same time. It wasn't oh, well, this one died, then that one died, then that one. No, they just all pretty well died within the same week. And it wasn't cold, and it wasn't rainy. There were days where they could go out, and there were days where it rained and they had to stay in. They didn't starve. But these are the nuke of what the uncle said was buckfast bees, and there are bees in there. They're just not real active at the moment. I think they're in there cleaning and doing all the other stuff. I just transferred them this morning as well, and yeah, they seem to be doing okay. So I took them out of the tall one right there. It was just the bottom one. I pulled it out, put all the frames over into this one, let the bees all go in there. They were very, very docile, very gentle. I really wouldn't have had to wear a suit even to transfer them, which is unusual. They were just chill. And as you can see, there's a few bees floating around, but they're not coming in and out like you would think. But there's honey in there, there's nectar in there, honey in there, there's larvae, there's all kinds of stuff. So I know that they ain't going to leave that hive and go somewhere else. They're going to come right back here. So, and as you can see, this is the swarm that was on that post on Friday. And then I finally got them all into the box yesterday. And I brought them over here. And typically I'll stick some grass right there in front. But I didn't do it this morning. And they don't seem to be leaving. They seem to be staying here. And as you can see, there's some of the bees right here that have their butts up in the air. And they're pretty chill. They're not aggressive. They'll land on you and then they fly off. And that's what that swarm over there is doing. It's a smaller swarm right now. So I'll just have to keep an eye on it. And if it is actually a swarm and they're not just going back over there because the bees were on there for a couple days, then if it is actually a swarm, I'll end up having to go out in the field, put my bee suit on, because they're aggressive out there. You get away from the hives, they're fine. Get closer hives, oh, they'll tag you. They got me right in the eyelid. But I'll have to get some of their equipment out there, come up here, catch a swarm, and then take it back out there for them tonight if it swarms up today. So anyway, oh, there's one other thing I wanted to mention. The uncle, I was talking to him, and he has a whole mess of nukes out there because he's trying to get into the buckfast bees. And some of his nukes went queenless. and they had eggs in there, but they were queenless. So I looked at him and I go, your bees in the nukes look like they're getting ready to swarm. He says, no, those are the queenless ones. So what he does is he gets queen cells. He takes all the bees, he sets them up on a pedestal, the ones that are queenless, that are or have a laying queen in there, or not a laying queen, a laying worker in there. He takes all his frames with bees on them and the box, shakes all the bees onto the ground. Then he puts a queen cell in there and lets the bees go back in there. The queen, the laying worker, won't be able to fly back in there. So that eliminates his laying worker problem. And then they have a queen cell in there, so they automatically know they need to go take care of that. And that's how he gets rid of his laying workers. I never thought about that, but it makes total sense. Queen bees, when they're mated and they're laying eggs and they're full of eggs, they can't fly. Well, a worker bee is the same way. A laying worker is the same way. They can't fly. So if you dump them all on the ground, let them fly back to their hive, you're not going to have that problem with the laying worker. But you got to make sure you put a queen in there or have a queen cell. So just thought I'd bring that up because that was kind of interesting.